So, a big part of our rongoā is just coming to the beach, swimming in the ocean. We swam all the time.
Oakura, on the Whangaruru Harbour, Northland. This is home to Donna Kerridge, rongoā practitioner, advocate and passionate keeper of mātauranga.
Just see how her, how her joints are and get all the blood flowing. And, it's really good to help her sleep.
And she shares the knowledge. Today it's with her neighbour Shannon and her pepe Taonga Aio.
We can get some kawakawa for you to rub on her gums when she starts teething. And that'll help just take the pain out.
And then I'm going to ask you to do it because it's really good you learn.
Yeah.
So that you can do it yourself next time. Yeah. So we might just swap places. Shannon can then teach her cousins, her siblings how to do this, and that gives purpose back to Shannon in terms of building up her Maori, her mana, maintaining her wairua, because now she has a gift to share with her whānau. So all of that is rongoā.
But Donna and other practitioners are up against potential legislation that could see rongoā pushed out to the fringes. It's called the Therapeutic Products Bill, the TPB.
The really sad thing is that there is absolutely no evidence in this bill that they've heard a single word we've said to them over the past 10 years. Either it fell on deaf ears, or there is no desire to enable Māori to retain rangatiratanga over our taonga rongoā. But even worse, they set to assume control over it, something they have no place or even expertise in.
Donna has done her best. She's consulted with Parliament for the last 2 decades. The TPB is being designed to replace the Medicines Act. A big part of it is redefining regulations over natural health products and their ingredients.
There's lots of things about the bill that are good. The Medicines Act is due for an overhaul. But as the law stands today, Māori and the practice of Rongoā Māori is severely at risk. It will outlaw our practice as it's practiced today, and that's not okay. The Crown has overstepped the mark. It's overstepped its authority. Article 2 of Te Tiriti guarantees us tino rangatiratanga over our own taonga.
The bill regulates natural health products through a permitted ingredients list that will include some animal and plant materials used in rongoā.
For somebody else to come in and go, no, you need to swap that ingredient out, we don't like it. You need to put this one in. That puts me at risk, and it puts people that I might share that with at risk. It imposes penalties, practitioners will stop practicing, costs will go up because we've got a whole set of hoops to jump through that we wouldn't have had to jump through before.
For Māori, rongoā has always been so much more than just potions.
It can be as simple as teaching somebody how to play taonga pool or to settle their mauri, their wairua. That can have huge beneficial impacts. We have physical practices, but they're not solely physical, so we have miri, romi, lots of bodywork techniques. It's nothing like what I understand Western notions of health and wellbeing. Ours is a more interconnected approach, and it's managed quite adequately over the centuries through tikanga and kawa.
So how did it come to this? How could legislation progress so far with so little Māori input?
If Māori rights under Te Tiriti were being acknowledged and reflected in this process, then engagement with tangata whenua could have and should have occurred before the bill was introduced to Parliament, and this would be reflected by treaty-based protections in the bill.
Debbie Ngarewa Peka is one of the few MPs to sound the alarm after the first reading of the bill was passed overwhelmingly.
It's written in a sense, to be honest, as if taonga belongs only to a clinical Pākehā regime. And there is no way that any government should be involved in regulating our taonga. What next? Our reo? Our kapa? No, we need to have absolute certainty that there's respect for our taonga and our kairongoā, our tohunga, don't have to fear the worst.
At Waitangi this year, iwi leaders unanimously opposed the bill. There was also a petition, and caught in the middle, the Associate Minister of Health.
What we don't want is people saying that Rongoā Māori will do something, but it doesn't. And then what that brings into question is whether or not Rongoā Māori is actually Rongoā Māori. And so what we're trying to do is protect the consumer, the practitioner.
There are plenty of health products out there, and it's the Minister's job to keep us all safe.
If you process, for example, a particular Rongoā Māori and you make it into a balm, you use other products in order to make that balm. It's not just the kawakawa leaf. If, for example, somebody has a mild reaction to rubbing this balm on them, one, we've got to look at why that's occurred. What we don't want is people simply to say, ko te kawakawa ke te take, it was the kawakawa that's caused this. So we've got to make sure that we can protect this, right?
There's an international aspect to this as well, which involves our locally produced therapeutics meeting those standards.
A lot of our whānau are looking to commercialise and to export Rongoā Māori, and in order to do that, there has to be a legal framework to allow that to happen.
Going back to 2006, there have been moves for a joint therapeutics agreement between Australia and New Zealand. Professor Jane Kelsey, a trade specialist, was concerned back then, and she's concerned now.
Now, fast forward to this therapeutic products bill, we've been asking questions, trying to work out if there are some international trade rules that explain the mess of this bill, and we're still in the dark. That breeds some suspicion that in fact something is going on that we're not being told about.
What are your thoughts on the bill?
Oh, I think that the government has screwed up really badly. They should have known better. We need to know why. Is it that they're scared of the Maori politics of it, in which case they've made it worse? Is it because of international agreements that they won't tell us about? Or is it purely incompetence? Whichever it is, they need to sort it out.
If she snaps, we'll take her. If not, that's a tohu that we can't take her. Like, you know, you're eating food of the gods when you eat that. Yeah, lovely and really crisp.
Any suggestion that Rongoā might somehow be unsafe isn't backed up by the official stats. A 2021 MedSafe report found no evidence that Rongoā products posed a risk.
Statistically, there is no basis or no evidence of real risk, and yet we allow other things that present far greater risk to proceed. But we're trying to control Rongoā Māori. And the bill is racist in that it doesn't consider Māori ways of knowing and understanding the world and health, what it means to be healthy and well. Rongoā Māori does not experience the same privilege as Western medicine in this country. And that's not good enough.
As Māori, we've had plenty of bad experiences of lawmakers knowing what's best for us. Who can forget the Tohunga Suppression Act and later the Quackery Prevention Act?
Well, the Tohunga Suppression Act and in combination with the Quackeries Act, I almost see them as identical. You can only say what the Crown says you can say. You can only include things the Crown says you can include. I don't want a Rongoā Māori advisory to the bill. I want the Crown to recognise and protect Rongoā Māori in its own right.
My grandmother makes kumarahau for our family. They can still do that. There will be no impact on them through the current proposals in the therapeutics bill. But I want to be very clear here, that bill hasn't passed yet. We've still got a Rongoā work stream that's underway. There's the processes for the bill to continue before it's even put into law, and that's the work that we're committed to doing in order to protect our whānau and Rongoā Māori.
What worries me about an individual minister's interpretation of it is that when he's gone and our whānau end up with officials and courts having to say that, it doesn't ever work that way. We need to have absolute clarity that any legislation is not going to over-regulate or try to have us fined for using our own taonga. That's not how it's written at the moment.
Even though the bill is fast approaching a second reading, there is a last-dash effort to try and accommodate Māori interests.
The chair of the Select Committee asked if I could draft some clauses that would have the effect of protecting Rongoā Māori, and I did that, excluding Rongoā Māori, effective protections for Te Tiriti o Waitangi, a Māori appointed, Māori designed body to oversee the processes. Haven't heard anything since.
My hope is that our Māori MPs in Parliament will start to take a more active role in defending our taonga. You know, they've been conspicuous by their absence in this debate. And without fail, Māori will take a national Waitangi tribunal claim under urgency if this bill progresses in its current form. The Crown has no place in regulating the practice of Rongoā Māori, not one part of it.